Natural law, I think that for me, it really is. So, one of the biggest influences to me is John Trudell. He's a radical native activist that died in 2015. He was super active during the 60s and 70s, what was known as like the Red Power movement. And sometimes he would tell stories about like what it was like before colonization. And we had these different tribal names that in some cases were retroactively attached to different peoples. So sometimes he would say, before colonization, before they came along, we were just here. We were just the people. We didn't call each other by different names. And you're this thing and I'm this thing. It was just that we were all the people. I feel like in that time and space, if such a space, for however short it might have existed, not to say that there was any utopia or everybody was constantly at peace or anything of that sort, but where the ideas of this separation might not have even existed, I feel like that's the time and a place where something we might have called natural law could have existed, right?
Yeah.
And it does exist in every moment, like in this space and time right here where you and here I are sitting and we're engaging in conversation. Neither of us is forcing the other to be here. There's no coercion or violence or fraud being used against either of us. We are respecting each other. This is a moment of anarchy. This is a moment of natural law being respected right here, right? I think it is sort of if such a thing could be said to be universal, a universal law of cause and effect, that there are causes and effects that I think are both seen and unseen. A lot of my work, particularly the Conscious Resistance trilogy, has focused on trying to think about anarchism through the lens of the world beyond the five senses as well, getting beyond just simply a materialist worldview. And along with that, I do think that there are, however you want to interpret the forces, both seen and unseen, and this is what we've been taught as well in our ways, that there's all forms of different life, and that the creative force moves through everything. And I think that natural law is kind of a part of that. Whether or not man's law says something is right or wrong or just, that doesn't mean there's not another form of what we might term law from our limited language that also plays a role, right? And it might even be in the sense that maybe you harm, and I can say this from personal experience, when you harm somebody or you do wrong to another life form, it might not feel like there's any immediate repercussions, but I do believe that through natural law, and again, that kind of cause and effect.
So it sounds to me like you're equating natural law with karma.
I do think that the concepts could be closely related to some degree. One of the ways that one of my teachers taught me about karma was just simply, again, like the law of cause and effect. And I think that natural law plays a similar role. Like maybe it's not about like doling out punishments like people think of God. Like God punishes you. But it's just the rhythm of the universe, And when you sort of, for lack of better terms, put out bad frequencies, bad vibrations, treat people like shit, that does have a ripple and an effect. That might not be immediately seen to you, but I do think it does achieve equilibrium.
Well, you're doing harm to yourself. By harming others, you're harming yourself.
I do agree with that.